What's up, you guys? Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes here on another episode of What Locals Think About Their City. And of course, we're here in Metro Atlanta, particularly in the northeast suburbs. And today's city is going to be Suwanee, Georgia, but we're going to take a little bit of a different spin. And my client and now friend, Derrick, is going to talk about a little bit about Suwanee, but predominantly what life is like here in Georgia versus where they moved from, which was Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
Derrick, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Tim?
Doing well. Thank you for inviting me here. And it's been already, like 2 years almost, right?
Almost 2 years, yeah. October 2023 will be 2 years.
Time flies. And you got the little one here.
Yeah, I got the little one. She's running around.
So you'll hear the giggles in the background. Just have to deal with it, but it's a nice background noise. So yeah, I just want to dive right into it. So I know you guys moved here roughly 2 years ago.
Yep.
And you're originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. So I'm sure it was an eye-opening experience to move here. What were some of the initial, I guess, things that you noticed that were different about Suwanee, Georgia, and just here in Atlanta in general when you moved here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things is that a lot of the stores, they don't open as early as they would back in Brooklyn, New York. You can't just get up and go to the nearest deli and grab a cup of coffee, right? And also the transit system here, unless you live closer to the, to the metro area in Atlanta, you're not going to be able to find, a train or bus that's easy for you to take to get to places.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I think I mentioned to you, I went to New York last year.
Yes, you did.
In October for a little vacation, and yeah, definitely I could tell like the difference in terms of mobility, accessibility, getting to places by foot.
Yep.
Very convenient. What about as far as when you considered moving here to begin with? Like, what were some of the things that attracted you to want to even move here to begin with?
Family, for sure. We have relatives here who've lived in Georgia for 20 plus years, right? So that kind of tells me that one, they're long-term residents and that they find this as their home, and they haven't considered moving anywhere else, right? Two, affordability for sure, being able to afford a place where we can have some space, and then also three, being starting a family as young parents.
So you found out a lot about this area through family that was already here.
Yep.
Do you think that if they weren't here, would you have found a way to know about Georgia and find it as a potential place to move to?
Honestly, probably not. I think definitely having family and relatives that you can actually visit in the same state definitely helped a lot. But Georgia wasn't the first state that we were considering because, being from New York, we were looking around, the tri-state area because we had family there. But yeah, I think we wouldn't have, had Georgia on top of the list if family wasn't a big part of our decision.
Big factor, yeah. What about as far as like Suwanee itself? I mean, definitely it's family oriented, perhaps also for young professionals. What are some like fun things to do here? Like, I've done like a pros and cons video of Suwanee last year, but didn't really touch on like, things to do that maybe only the locals know about, that for the outsider looking in, it'll be something good for them to know.
Yeah, sure. Suwanee is a great location because it neighbors other cities as well, but within Suwanee, you're gonna have the town center. You're gonna have Stillfire Brewery. If you like a local brew, you're gonna have all the various parks that surrounds this. That's within this area as well. But I think the one thing that really stuck out about the town center is you have the dedication to the actual town center park, and then the businesses that actually surround it. If you go outside of Suwanee and let's say you go to the Duluth City Hall, it's a great place too, but you're not going to be able to see that whole town center from the outside without having to actually walk through the different businesses to get to it. Not to say Duluth is great, but within Suwanee itself, there's lots of different things that it has to offer, and within the town center as well, you're gonna have farmers market, starting in May, food truck Fridays, I think starting sometime in the summer, but all these different events that you'll be able to go.
And
Festivals,
things. Yeah.
yep.
Man, nice. I'm getting excited about Suwanee just hearing you. Yes, I used to live close to downtown Duluth, so I would frequent that spot a lot. But like you said, like the town center at Suwanee, it's like right there for you to see. It stands out. It's very, memorable. It's like once you drive by it, you're just like, oh, there it is.
It's the place, yep.
And then you got like George Pierce Park nearby. Very sprawling park too. You could not just walk the trails, you can bike as well. Do you do any of that stuff too? Like I know your wife was doing some kind of exercise thing I saw, and I don't know, you partake in it as well?
I don't partake in Olympic weightlifting.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I'll do the walking. I'll do the walking, sometimes
running.
running.
A little more gentle.
Yeah, a little more gentle, right, exactly.
And so just like wherever, just want to go out and a hike or small little walk, you've got walking trails nearby.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's nice.
I definitely appreciate the various nature opportunities that we have here. So Sims Lake is by far our favorite. We love to go there just to take walks, and also have Madeline look for the turtles as well.
There you go. There you go. So what is one thing that you would say that you miss the most about New York that you can't get here?
That I can't get here.
That you can't get here.
Ooh. Accessibility is number one. Accessibility because the fact that I used to run a lot. So, when I used to train for half marathons, I would be able to run, hey sweetie, from Brooklyn to Manhattan, right? So the ability to actually cross boroughs without having to drive, I think that was pretty awesome. Also being able to walk to different shops within close proximity. Unfortunately here, you have to drive to most places, depending on what area you live in. But I think accessibility is definitely by far number one. And also, having the rest of our family within New York as well.
Is the accessibility thing, as you've started to live here for almost 2 years, is it something that you had to kind of like get used to or accept, or is that like something that you just, it's a barrier or obstacle that you just have to deal with? Or
I think it was a little bit of both, right? So I think having not too many forms of transportation such as buses and trains around, that was something I just had to get used to. But it's not the end of the world, right? You can still get there and take the train, but it was more of just adjusting to the lifestyle that we knew that we had to assimilate to since we were moving into the suburbs.
On the flip side, how about now that you've lived here for a little while, what's something that you truly embrace and love that you're like, wow, we didn't have this in New York, and I'm so glad that I live here to experience it?
For our situation, it's probably going to be space. Knowing that we're able to afford a place that has provided us space to raise Madeline and to have a home gym without having to drive out to the gym. I think that has been great for us.
It's the convenience of home life and
yes,
the things that matter a lot to you on a daily basis.
Yep.
Nice, very nice. So somebody who, say, lives in New York, your home turf, that's like, I've been thinking about moving to Georgia, particularly Atlanta.
Sure.
And I've just been mulling over it for a while, but I'm on the fence. What would you say to that person to get them off the fence and say, I'm committed to moving to Georgia, particularly in Atlanta?
I would say do your research and find the different areas that interest you, right? So if my friends are starting a family, definitely find an area that is really family oriented, with all the different kid events that they can potentially do.
That's huge.
But if they don't have kids, right, then just find an area that that allows you as a couple or friends to do the same activities that you currently do in New York. Research is key because every area is different in its own unique way. But I say do research, work with referrals. You know, we have Tim here, who's been definitely instrumental with us. So I think those are probably that's probably the big factor there. Just make sure you do your research and not just commit into one area to find a place to live.
Very nice. Any closing remarks as far as moving here and the pros, the highlights that you would want to just hit home with people?
Hit home. Yeah. I think with the pros is that you're moving away from it. Depending on the area that you're coming from, if you're moving from a city to suburbs, you're gonna lose that hustle and bustle feeling, which to me.
She's hustling and bustling.
Yeah, she's hustling and bustling right now. The hustle bustle of having to wake up super early, take mass transit to go to work. I definitely. So coming from a big city where it was super busy, you're on time crunch. You have to hustle and bustle just get to work and then get back. Right, having that extensive transportation time from the time you wake up to the time you get back home. I think. The pro is definitely like having the time to get back to yourself and having that life work balance that you can currently have here. Pros also, every state has their different types of state taxes, right? So I think also doing that research and making sure that you find a place that's comfortable with your current work situation. So yeah, I think those would probably be it. And also, the myriad of activities that you'll definitely find here that you can do. And whether, you live in the current city that you're in now, you can always branch out to different cities and find totally different activities that, are very much different from your current city. So,
very nice. So last question, bottom line, no regrets moving here?
No regrets. No regrets moving from New York to Georgia. This was our decision to do this, and I think we're really happy with it.
That's awesome. Derrick, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Catch the other episodes of what locals think about their cities here in Atlanta. And if you have thought about moving here, please feel free to call me, text me, email me, however you want to get a hold of me. Even if it's a question or consultation, I'm here. Would love to hear from you. Derrick here in the flesh, he can vouch for me. He enjoys it here, and the whole process of moving here was pretty smooth, I would say, and I'm happy for him and his family. So catch you guys on the next video.